All right, it's almost 1:10. We're going to go ahead and get ready to go here. Sorry about late. Holy shit, there's a lot of people in here. Pretty awesome. But to my first presentation to go sideless, I am perspiring a little. So, but thank you so much for coming. This is Speedgeeking with Coffeechug 3.0. So I've been doing this session for a while, but this is all stuff I have not shared before. Just continue to share the things that I share back in our schools with staff, things that I use. And so while you're trying to get logged in, I know the Wi-Fi is a little spotty. There was this Google form link that people are voting on. That's when I was kind of checking out. And I find it really interesting where you're voting. And as of right now, there was 0 people that chose rapid feedback, the F word, which is kind of interesting. I think the only thing worse than the F word is the D word, which is data. So it'd be a good thing I probably didn't have a data slide up there. But while you're trying to get this loaded and up here ready to rock and roll, try to you can check out the tabs and all that. Just a quick bio that every speaker has to do because we feel compelled. My name is Aaron Maurer. I work at Bettendorf Middle School. About 1,100 kids in a 6-8 building in the Quad Cities. I'm an instructional coach to the TLC program. And I work with teachers to develop projects, build projects, co-teach, whatever they need. We're a volunteer system, so teachers don't have to work with us. So we're constantly just trying to find ways to be a benefit and not a royal pain. And so what we have up here, what I have today is a OneNote. So the goal with this OneNote is to give you everything that I have that's in here. You probably won't get through it all in the 50 minutes, but you can go back and get started, follow up. There's resources, there's examples. And if any time today or tomorrow or in the future you have questions, feel free to reach out. There's a lot I haven't put in here just so I try to make sure that it wouldn't load on this Wi-Fi. But we've got some categories. One is making connections, just looking at how to connect with the world. I know it seems so obvious, but there's still just a lot of educators, when you push them on it, how do you connect with other people, they still don't know, even though they're familiar with the words and the tools. Email is the ultimate time suck that wastes so much of our time. It's just more and more and more. So the tools in which you can deal with those and make your email life a little less chaotic. Rapid feedback, if we have time we'll get to it since nobody voted for it. Cool tools are just things, maybe not completely student learning and educational, but they're pretty awesome and I'm sure we could find a way to make it work. Productivity, just a couple quick tips to make your life easy, and then show and tell. How do we start getting our messages out? What are some new platforms to share information with students, teachers, parents, yada, yada, yada. And so the one that has the most votes by far is Cool Tools. And so we're going to start there. And I had about 40 things, and then I cut them off. I was like, holy cow, we have 15 minutes. And so my screen might look a little different than yours because you're in the online version. This is my actual account. But the first one that's in there is I Am Cardboard. And you don't have to use the actual brand I Am Cardboard. Just real quick, anybody done the virtual reality with your phone yet? So we got a few people. You can make these with just regular cardboard. So I have cardboard actually. We can make them, but my ghost might fall. What this is you slide your phone into the device, and it creates a virtual reality world. And you look at it, I bought this particular one, but now in our class with students, we're making them really cheap. It kind of blows your mind a little bit. And so hopefully this might work. I'll give you just a quick idea. This was my kids the other day testing out for the first time. My kids are my ultimate test machine. If they don't get excited, then I know that it's going to suck because they're my guinea pigs for everything. If this doesn't work, we'll come back. But what you can do with this is there's museums you can go explore. You literally can look all around and see everything. They have a new one. Google's going to launch this. It's currently not in Iowa, so I would encourage you, if you are interested in this, to keep clicking for the state of Iowa. They will send you a class set of everything, and then you can actually go on field trips. You can go deep sea diving and look at sharks. You can go explore caves with people. They're all educated. They're all aligned with Common Core, and they bring everything to you and a trainer. But so far, Iowa's not on the map. There hasn't been enough interest. It just started a couple of weeks ago. But it's going to be pretty epic. For a lot of the schools that can't get their kids to places, field trips seem to be this impossible dreamland that we can no longer reach anymore. And so, as opposed to getting upset and complaining about it, can we bring kids there? This probably isn't going to load, so we're not going to waste our time. But my kids are pretty awesome. You can get their expressions when they watch. So on your free time, you can check out my kids. And so there's just a bunch of links. Since that link's not working, I won't go through the others. But you just slide your phone in, and it works for any phone. I know it's Google, but I have an iPhone, and it works just fine. Their app is a roller coaster one. Has nothing to do with school, but it does make you a little motion sick. You can play all sorts of different games, but for us, we're looking at that virtual field trip piece, getting in contact with experts, getting out and exploring, and you can literally move all over. It's pretty awesome. This one here is a Microsoft tool. It is free. What you do, or what the kids do, is they take pictures with their phone or device, tablet, and they take a panoramic view. And what this software does is it stitches all the pictures together to create a virtual world. So, big woo. But what you can do with that is we're starting to get our kids to screencast. So we're going out in the community and we're capturing stuff. We were presenting robotics at the Putnam a couple weeks ago, and a kid went through and just captured the whole room to document their learning for our research. Then we can screencast this on our computer screen. Look at a computer, they voice over, they document their learning. And so it's getting them to create a virtual reality environment, and then you can kind of apply it to whatever. So if you do get on a field trip, kids could do that. They can go around town or anything. You could take a picture right in the middle of your classroom one day and just take all sorts of pictures and do a whole virtual reality. Just another way of trying to showcase your room. Beginning of the year, stand in the middle of your room and showcase the room, make a little voiceover and explain to the kids all the awesome things that are about to come their way. So just another little kind of nerdy tool that's nice. Bing is another one, another Microsoft. Now, to be honest, I Google 99.9% of the time. But Bing is nice because there's some things in there. This Bing in the classroom every day has a new picture. And in that picture, there's 3 clues embedded in the file. And so you could start your day like a bell ringer, or we have current events in our middle school on early out days. The kids can look at the clues and try to figure out where in the world the picture is. And then the answer is provided in the bottom right-hand corner. The other thing that is nice with Bing, like I said, we don't use it a whole lot, so, but when we do, it removes all sorts of ads. If you're doing searching and doing research, it eliminates anybody trying to sell stuff to you. And so I think Google obviously reigns supreme in terms of search engines, but I think Bing has some things to offer too in the right moment and with what you're after. So I think most people are aware of Bing, and we still resort to Google, but there's just one more thing for you to kind of think about. One more Microsoft thing. I know PowerPoint takes a bad rap, but if you have PowerPoint 2012 or above, there's this feature I just discovered this like 2 weeks ago, and it would have made my life a heck of a lot easier. And you have an option in PowerPoint to remove the background. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. And hopefully this is up. So if we were to pull this picture up, could anybody identify what character this is from a movie? Yeah.
Oh, the
Joker. Okay? So what we did here is we just used an option called remove background. And you can remove anything. And so how it works, it's really pretty simple. I go right up here. I'm going to get my right option here. Oop, oop. Oh, sorry.
Format.
Oh, Jesus. All right, so remove background. It kind of just randomly picks whatever you want to remove. And then you can go right up here, and you can mark areas to keep or mark areas to remove. And so I can go in here, if I want to make sure this was all out, I can click. And so you can do a lot of stuff with pictures or edit, if you're trying to edit things quickly on the fly, or kids. Sometimes a lot of the online editing software is this, there's so many tedious steps, or kids aren't old enough, you have to create accounts. Sometimes it's already built into our computers. It's just a quick, easy access point. And we do a lot of things like this picture here, just removing the face. You can do that with a lot of things for like this quick little trivia, things a little fun in the classroom, characters or things in books or movies, and just kind of have some fun. So just an easy little tip if you have PowerPoint. I know not everybody, but for us, we're a Google school. We have Microsoft products, and we also have Apple. We have a little bit of everything, and so we're always just trying to figure out what's the best tools to get the best bang for our buck. This one here is an app, also a website. It's called Crumbles. What you do is you can type in a phrase, and then it pulls movie clips that have that word spoken and compiles it. So I see some education value. I'll tell you, it's nothing but really, really crude messages to my wife. But here is one. I don't know if it'll load. This one just says, we'll say coffee is yummy. I don't know if it'll play. Probably not because Wi-Fi is done. But the beauty of it is, if there's a word that it doesn't have, you can record it for you. So I had one with my daughter. I was trying to forget what word it was, and I had her say the word. And so the kids can fill in and do some stuff. Hopefully maybe it'll work. Probably not. Darn it. So I made one of these this morning driving in the car, because at 4 in the morning when it's pitch dark and you're tired, the number one thing you should do is get on your phone and make a crumble. And that's what I did. So if you check the iTech hashtag at about 4 in the morning, I did make one. But it probably won't work either because Wi-Fi is a little spotty here. This one here, when I was in the classroom, I use this all the time. This is a game called Where What. It's kind of similar if you ever played Mafia. This thing is awesome if you're looking for if you have like homeroom or TA, just some sort of activity to kind of get kids to have, I don't want to say fun, but kind of build some different bonds. Basically, they go through and you give them a character, they're hidden, and they're trying, there's a killer, there's a werewolf on the loose, and they have to assume these roles. It takes a few times to get them into it. This a couple years ago when I had my own homeroom, got so intense that the games would last for weeks. It actually would hold a secret the entire week. And it built up. The first couple of times we were like, middle school kids, this is stupid. Anything the teacher says is dumb. And then we got into it. They're like, can we do it again? Do it again. And there's this whole roll. You can download all of it. It's free. It's one of my go-tos, especially early in the year if I have a group of kids just trying to build some relationship and conversation, as well as critical thinking and that kind of stuff. But it's just a great little game, especially like third quarter. The kids have just hit that wall, and you're getting really sick of the kids. The spring break can't come fast enough. This is kind of a really nice game. If you have younger kids, you could adapt some of the characters if they're scary, but yeah, very, very simple. This one here, there's a lot of stuff with brain breaks, and so a lot of you are probably already familiar with this. This one's just called Go Noodle. What I like about this one, besides like songs and dancing, they now have like stretches and yoga things, and it's all really, 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 really cheesy. So elementary people are probably like, yeah, we do this every day. Middle school kids, as much as they want to hate it, they can't help but like it. And so, because I think it's the ultimate cheesiness, so they all collectively sigh, this guy is a complete dork, but we're going to end up doing it anyways. And so there's all sorts of just videos and things, and you earn points like that. So sometimes if you just need one more tip to your arsenal, especially like after lunch when kids are tired, these things always pull through. The last one I'm not going to go through, but those that use Google Chrome, I just listed every tool that I use, and I'm not going to go through this list because that would bore you to death if you're not a Chrome user. But this is everything that I currently have if you're just interested. So there is an extension called Share Extension, I believe, and it'll tell you everything that you have installed. Sometimes you realize you've got stuff that you don't want on there, but that's how you can keep track. But those are all there for you if you want to explore, for those that are into Chrome extensions. Are there any questions on those before we move on to the next one? All right, well, the one that had the second amount of votes was productivity. So I have just a few here. This one is just, I'm a squirrel chaser. My brain moves 20 different directions every 4 seconds. I'm that guy that has 4 browsers open with like 80 tabs in each one, and they're all for a certain reason. And then my kids come and try to get on a video game and close out, and I feel like my world's completely ended. I'm that guy. And so sometimes I actually do have to focus for more than 5 minutes. And you can use this. I just use Google because that's what we use. But there's a way you can just cloud out your whole screen. It's really simple. It's no added tools. You can just go right into the presentation view and you get just your document and you get just your work done. You can use this with any of the Google tools as well as Microsoft tools if you have that. But sometimes I can just eliminate all the distractions and just see just a blank screen. I can actually get some focus done. So that was just real quick and easy. This one here is going to sound really dumb, but it's one of the most powerful things that I have. It's called the swipe file. So I have a folder on my phone. Well, first, all my apps are color-coded because that's how you organize your apps. If you can't fit everything on the first screen, you got too much crap on your phone. Secondly, I have a swipe file, and it's just a folder in my photos. And as you can kind of see here, here are my criteria. If I find a picture that makes me want to click on it, or makes me want to sign up to a newsletter or something, makes me laugh, or makes me just go, whoa, that's really powerful, I screenshot it. And I put it in my swipe file. And that's where I store everything. I have literally thousands of pictures, from really powerful education quotes to something I just want to remember down the road. And 4 months later, I'm like, oh crap, what was that thing that I took a picture of on that one day after that other picture? I have it all in my swipe file. When I load it up to my computer, I have a folder for my swipe file. I have a swipe file that I use at IFTTT that then loads everything into a OneNote. But it just sounds so simple, but it really is powerful. And so these are like just the examples that I have. I mean, so I was at a bookstore and I saw a couple books that I wanted to check out and read. And opposed to writing them down, I just took a picture of the whole screen. And I go to the public library and try to find it. You know, just stupid pictures. This is one of my cleaner ones. Sometimes when I read magazines, every time I read an article, I always try to think of education. And so if I make notes, I'll just screenshot it and throw the magazine away so I don't have clutter in my nerd game, which is already full of a lot of crap. I mean, who doesn't love the never-ending story? You had to have that in there. And then just different quotes and things like that. And so this picture right here I took the other day, and I used this when I was teaching blogging just last Friday. And so you never know when you're going to need something. And so I screenshot all the time, and I just put it, I just create a folder, swipe file, and it feeds everything in, and now I have it, and it's away from like the kid pictures and all those family things that you gotta, you know, sometimes show. You're like, oh yeah, I do love my kids, here they are, but I don't need my kids to see certain things that I screenshot. The last thing is this. A lot of people are on Twitter, and what I see is so many times we favorite tweets. We favorite it because we like it, because our name's mentioned. We favorite it because someone's responded. Or we favorite it because someone has really shared something powerful. Well, when's the last time you went back in your favorites and actually did something with those? It's the never-ending storage of stuff you never use. And so the challenge is this favorites journey. Go back in your favorites and just, you don't have to like solve them all, and take like 5-10 minutes, one day a week, and do something with it. Either archive it or delete it and then get it out of the way. And so here was just a screenshot from the other day of some of my favorites. And it's just, you know, like this was some really great stuff from Alice here on this, and I was like, I have yet to do anything with it. So I made myself sit there and learn to see what she was sharing. This one here, I went through and then determined, okay, am I listening to these podcasts or not? You know, and then you find those really dumb ones, like here's I favored the League of Legends. I don't even play the game. I don't even know what it is. But for some reason I favored it, so it's like, why is it in there? But going back, it's kind of like the swipe file. There are things you favorite, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? And you remind yourself, you clicked it for a reason, maybe by accident, and so what are you going to do with it? So holding yourself accountable to get something done with the things that you've been reading. And so I've got millions of favorites, and I'm going through and trying to make some sense of that. Moving on to the next one was email. I know the thing that we sucks our time away. A lot of research is out there, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Okay? In an average week, the average educator spends 13 hours on email. That's an ungodly amount of time. And we don't have time for it. You in the classroom don't have time for it, but you have to find ways. So these are just some tools that I use, not all at once, but that have helped streamline this process. And so the first one that I want to share is called Unroll Me. This is a website. You give them your email, and they will list everything you've ever subscribed to in the history of that email account. There are things you subscribe to that you don't even know you subscribe to. And so I know you can't see it, but I had 463 subscriptions. That was already after I deleted 120 getting ready for this presentation. I said, oh wow, look at this guy. And so you can go through and you can list and be like, and right there on the website you can unsubscribe. I don't want to be part of this, I don't want to be part of this, I don't want to be part of this, I had no idea I was part of that. And you just go through. That right there will cut half your email out. All of the emails you click every morning, you just delete, you don't even read it, you're just like, oh, I don't want that. So just get it out of there right away. So really helpful tools. Obviously I have a lot of work to do. This one here, I'm a passive-aggressive person. And so I don't know if anybody else is passive-aggressive, but despite how much email is a headache, there's nothing that drives me more batshit crazy when someone doesn't write me back. And so on the flip side, there's this very, very, very simple technique. You sent an email and they have not responded, and you don't want to be like, hey, just, checking in, see how things are going, I know you're busy, and yada, 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 I just haven't had a chance to look at my email. You just wasted 40 seconds of your life. All you have to do is just reply back to them and write the word bump. You will have a response in 5 minutes. It's the ultimate passive aggressive. They go, holy crap, I didn't write this person back. And that's it. And no, you're sitting there going, that sounds really stupid. Try it. It's awesome. It's no different than like if you're, I don't know, if people like try to find like front row tickets for like concerts. I'm like a huge Dave Matthews Band fan, and on the ticket forum, you bump your post all the time. In search of front row tickets like the other 87,000 people. And you just keep hitting bump and it takes you to the top of the forum. This is the same thing. Do it to parents, and the parents don't even know what they're like, what's a bump? I don't know what a bump is. And you're like, got them. Okay, now this one here probably feeds into me chasing squirrels and everything else, but I really, really like this. This is called Sidekick, and you can sign this up. What this will do, and I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, I haven't quite yet decided, but I haven't turned it off yet. It will tell you the second the person opens up the email. So, how many have had that parent going, I don't know, email never came through, I don't know what you're talking about. But yet I can sit there and go, yeah, you open it right there, and you're opening it and reading it right now. And so it lets you know. The other thing that's kind of nice, and I didn't go into it because I didn't want to invade anyone's privacy in my email, but when you go into your account, it'll give you some of their social media stream, which is kind of nice. It'll tell you, like, it'll show up, they have like a Twitter account, like your last couple of tweets. It'll show them all those things. It's really, really handy. Not that you're just trying to bust people out, but you can schedule things and do all sorts of different, get all sorts of different data if you want. And so, besides just trying to catch a parent in a bad situation, when I send out newsletters to groups of people or students, I can look at it and I can go, okay, these 5 kids did not get this email yet. I need to make sure I follow up the next day in class before I lose my mind that they didn't come prepared. So I can kind of follow up and see who's seen things and who hasn't, and it's just really, really helpful with that. This is another one for your inbox. It's called PowerBot. It's free. You can also pay for more stuff. What I like about this is you have an email, maybe it has like a PDF or there's a message in it that you don't want to leave, that you don't want to lose. And so you get an icon, and it's right here, and you can choose where you want to send it. So I used to be a huge Evernote user, and I just kind of migrated all my crap to OneNote, and 2 years I'll probably be somewhere else. But I can say I wanted to keep this get 20% off sneaky cards coupon. I can hit that button, and I can send it to my OneNote, and I can choose what folder I want to store it in. And so it's just right there in your inbox. You don't have to go anywhere else for it. And so you can kind of store files. So this is, if I get like a newsletter or kids are submitting assignments, I can just go that way. And so it's just a nice way, and one more way to kind of store information. This is just for Gmail, but I still can't believe how many people don't know this. There's an option in your inbox where you can unsend an email. So how many times, I don't know, you guys are going a million miles an hour, trying to get all these things going on, you hit send, and you're like, oh, I did not mean to send that. So what you can do is you can set there's a time window in your settings, and there's an unsend option. You can choose for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, up to a minute. So as soon as you hit send, Google won't send it until that time's up, and you can actually pull it back before it actually goes through to the person. And so it's just a nice feature to have in case you're catching a typo or you catch it, sending it to the wrong person. We have a problem where a lot of our teachers' names pop up while we're trying to email a student or vice versa. And so sometimes you accidentally email a student instead of a teacher. You can pull that back before they get it. So it's just a setting, but a lot of people still don't realize it's there. This is just another one. It's called Inbox Pause. And you can put it right in your inbox, and it'll pause your Gmail account or your thing there, and nothing will come through. It'll actually just kind of like freeze it, so you're not distracted by a sidekick showing you every 4 seconds when someone's reading your stuff. So if you actually are easily distracted by every time you see a new message in your inbox, you can just pause it, and it just kind of freezes it. And when you unpause it, everything comes hurtling at you a million miles an hour. But sometimes you just need that focus. This is just one more. It's called the email game. You load it right to your browser. And sometimes you just have to have a game. It has a timer, and it times you to see how many emails you can delete in like 60 seconds. And you get points, and there's a scoreboard. And I really hate not being in first place. So next thing I know, I'm just deleting all sorts of stuff. Mom, screw you. I'll just text you later. I'm out. I got to get these points. And so it's just gamified your account. The last one is Boomerang. Boomerang is nice. You can schedule your emails. So I'm writing at 3 in the morning, and I don't want maybe these people to know that I'm up awake drinking coffee at 3 in the morning, so I can schedule it to go out at like 7 at like normal people time. And so I can do that, or I can get it out of my inbox to say, come back in 24 hours. I know I need to deal with this, but I don't want all these emails in my inbox. So I can just say, come back in 2 days. And in 2 days it'll pop up like a new message, and I know that I can do something with it. So it kind of depends on what kind of email person you are. Some people don't mind. My wife, I look at hers, she had 15,000 emails. She just doesn't even deal with it. She just lets them keep scrolling. Other people have to have like the inbox zero mindset, so this one works really well for those kind of people. So these are just a bunch of just different tools there for you. Making connections, let's run through this since we've got a little bit of time here. So the question that I have in making connections, I love this quote here. You can just see someone actually just read my Robodog newsletter. But which is easier, making friends with 1,000 people one by one, or making friends with someone who already has 1,000 friends? I think there's some power to this. The same thing with super connecting. It's just making those mass connections by tapping into the hubs with many spokes. So there's so much on there. You don't want to spend your whole life on social media, because you could easily do that and lose sight of things that are important, like friends and family and downtime and just time to decompress. But there is some value in this, and I'm still just blown away by the amount of educators that don't tap into these resources, and I think they just don't know where to get started. And so these are nothing new, but I think sometimes you just need to be reminded by the power of these groups, because some of these we use all the time. This one is Skype in the classroom. Skype is nothing new. But what they've done, I don't know if you've seen it, but Microsoft has overhauled their whole website. They now, is like there was just a guy yesterday that with deep sea diving, and the kids could watch it. He was talking and teaching about corals and everything else right in the classroom. You don't have to do anything, but just turn it on. And there's all these teachers with projects shared all over. They've really kind of made a big push to clean it up, and it's going really well. But more than that is there's so much potential. There's so many people out there that want to connect and strengthen your program. And so we're not going to go through these. I'm not even going to show them because it's not working. But these are all the examples that we have used just in our middle school, just in the last year. And so these are all that we've done. I mean, we went through and we were connecting. We raised $1,400 for a project for kids in Indonesia. This school we found out didn't have, the kids have never had a free reading book in their entire life. The kids brought all this stuff in, we had a garage sale, we found out it cost $1,400 to ship 200 pounds of books over. And that was a half off discount through the mail company. So we sent it over there. And the kids were like, yeah, we feel good. But there was nothing more powerful than surprising them by turning on Skype and all these kids from over there in Indonesia in their guards holding the books that the kids gave them off their own library, and they sang them a song and they said thank you, and these kids were in tears. That's real. I don't care about any of the tech and what you use, but there is something about human connection, and it's as simple as a camera that we have in all our devices, and there's people just willing to do that. I mean, we Skyped last year, as opposed to just talking about the Holocaust, we found a Holocaust survivor, actually a 7th grade girl did, and we sat with 300 kids, and she shared her whole story. That was more powerful than anything you could read and watch in a movie. But this living lady telling you about how terrible it was. And we just have all sorts of things. Here was one, we did a mystery Skype. A lot of people do mystery Skype. It's a great starting point. But we took it a step further after we mystery Skype with them. They were in New Orleans, so they sent us a recipe, and then we Skyped and actually tried to make the recipe and eat the food for the first time. And a lot of our kids had not ever tasted that kind of southern cuisine. We had all sorts of weird seafood in there, and the kids in New Orleans thought it was so funny watching our kids kind of gagging on some of this food. And so there's just all sorts of things that could be done through Skype or Google Hangout or whatever online tool you want to use, Zoom, it all works, but people are just begging to get connected. And so there's real power in that. You know, we're taking right now in 8th grade social studies, we debate the topic, is revolution justified? Last year we debated each other. One teacher's hit her 6 classes versus another 6 classes. This year we said, why don't we open it up? We had 850 kids getting ready to debate a week. And it's powerful. And so these kids are all jacked up, ready to go debate against Florida and Ohio and all over. And so there's a real value to that. Voxer has been around. I've come to find out it is an educator tool. I don't really know a lot of people outside of education that use it, but there is value to it. And there's a lot of sessions already talking about some of these things, so I won't spend forever, but an Iowa educator group was created at iTech last year, and it is the most powerful group that I've connected to. There's something about hearing people's voices over a text or an email that really strengthens it. You can hear the passion in their voice, whether it's excitement or frustration or tears or just having a sounding board, just to go, hey, what would you do in this kind of situation? And so it's just a walkie-talkie system. You push a button, you talk, and you have your group of people, and you just have this ongoing conversation. And I know there's people in here that are part of the Iowa Educator Group. There's just some real value to being able to be connected. I've learned more through people across the state of Iowa through Voxer than I have locally just within my own school. Just because there's this real authenticity to it. And so there are some examples in the OneNote. I won't play them because I know they won't work. People that gave some answers of why they like Voxer. And so there's an educator group, and if you want to join. Twitter, it's kind of been hammered to death, but I do think that there's a power in it. Follow those hashtags, reaching out. The best thing I could ever say to you is share. Don't be afraid to share. It's amazing when you share how much you get back in return. And so I think I always tell people at my school that I am a social media whore, so I share everything all the time, whether you want it or not. But when I need something, people give back, and that's the power. And I can help teachers in my building by having those things. Google Communities is one that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I know they're trying to do the next Facebook, and it failed miserably. But what I like about communities, if you're not using Google Communities, is you can find a specific group of people. So right now I'm trying to learn about the Raspberry Pi. I am in a Raspberry Pi community, and the only thing people talk there is Raspberry Pi. The only time I need to go there is for the Raspberry Pi. And so you can go right to the exact topic that you need. You'd be amazed at what you can find. And so you can find people for a specific purpose, as opposed to sometimes in Twitter, things get lost in the shuffle. There's so much going on. How do you sift through it all? Here you can go specifically to it. And then this one, Facebook. I know most of us are on it, and what's the latest study that 1 in 7 people are always on it around the world. There are some powerful groups here, and I think there's just a lot of ideas that come through that what the Facebook allows you to do is not that you have to be serious all the time, but you don't always just have to share baby pictures and funny gifs either. But you can get authenticity, you can get to see people as a person, and you can also learn from them. And so there's a lot of powerful Facebook groups out there. There's one, if you really want some things that'll challenge your thinking, you probably won't agree with everything in there, but they're really challenging, like teachers throwing out grades. It's a whole group of people just completely trying to tell you, screw the grades. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it really just makes you think a little bit. And so there's just these places, I think sometimes we go to Facebook just to get away from it all, but there's also a value to that. And then this one is called Nuzzle. What you do is you sign up for this, and it pulls all the top stories that all your friends are sharing and retweeting and favoriting and liking on all the social media channels. And you get this kind of a feed, and it'll show you, like, here's this article that 20 of your friends have either retweeted, favorited, or liked on Facebook. And so you're like, huh, okay, I'm friends with people that are kind of like-minded as me. I haven't read that yet, I should check it out. So it's just, it's data and it's articles related based on people that you know. So I do think that there's some value to that. And then that shows up in your inbox, and so you may want to make sure you don't unsubscribe to that. Last one here, we can go through these. How many of you Sway? Okay, Sway is Microsoft, but you don't have to download anything. It's all ran online. It is the ultimate newsletter maker. I don't know if I can see if this will show up, probably not. It's just Sway.com. It's just a new structure. We use this for newsletters. It's how we communicate with our parents for RoboDogs. We've done it to show learning. Kids use it as a presentation tool. What I like about it is there's enough there to be creative, but there's not so much there where the kids get nitpicking and spend forever on the stupidest things. Like sometimes, like animations and how things slide in on a slide, it makes you just want to barf. Here, it's simple. I'm going to drop this in, I'm loading this up. If I don't like it, come on, you can hit a remix button and it'll remix the whole entire presentation for you. You just keep hitting it till you like a session that you like, and you push it out. And is all your guys' Wi-Fi still, or is it just mine? Okay. It's a really, really nice tool, and then everything just stores online, and it's really quite helpful, except for when it doesn't load. The other one is Mix. This one here, you can install in your PowerPoint, and you can do like your flipped learning. You can record your voice, you can add things. It does work on the Mac as well if you have an Office 365 account, and if you have PowerPoint installed for that. I'll show you examples, but it's not going to work either, but it's really nice. This is how kids document their learning. They take pictures of their projects along the way from start to finish. They load the pictures up, and then they speak over it. And then what it does is you can turn it into a video, or you can watch it. And it's just another nice thing. And this is another new feed tool that came out. It's called Sniff. You can screenshot, and then you can add your audio right on top of the screenshot. So that part is really nice. And if you have like a touch screen, you can mark it up and everything else. Super, super nice. And so the last we have is the one nobody wanted, but we've got 3 minutes, so let's roll. Matt, Worksheet Generator. I'm not very good at math, and this is actually the first tool. My wife is a math teacher. This is the first tool that I've ever presented to her that she actually was like, oh, I actually like that. So finally, after 12 years of teaching, I broke through. What this is, it's free. You type in a math problem. And so she gave me some complex, well, it's probably not complex to most people, but it's complex to me. You type it in. And it has, you can do algebra. So we've been doing algebra problems because my wife thinks nothing works for algebra, all the tech tools. And then you can choose how many problems you want, and then you hit create, and then what it does, it'll create a worksheet, I know worksheets have a bad name, of the same problem mixed up. So you don't have to create those on the fly. And if you don't like them, you just delete them. And then it gives you the answer key down there at the bottom. And so if I say, oh, I really like number 5, I can just copy that, paste that in the generator, and create another list. So I was talking with the teacher, and he creates different math problems. So he'll create a set for like low level, medium, and high. And you just keep recreating it until you find what you want. So you don't have to invent everything on your own. Math Worksheet Generator. And we got time for more. Oh, wait, we go to 2 o'clock? 1:50. 2? I guess I'll just go until everybody starts walking out. Here's another one. This one's quick check. And so sometimes you go in the room, this would require a device in your classroom. And so this would be a list of all the kids' names. And sometimes you just got to do a quick check to see where they are. And so we use this conditional formatting. Nothing mind-blowing here. And we just labeled it A turns green, B turns yellow, and C turns pink. We didn't use numbers because on a device like an iPad, if you have to go to numbers, you have to switch your keyboard to the numbers. So that takes too much time. And so we just created this spreadsheet. It's actually my wife. And she just walked through quickly. And she's like, okay, I can see you got it, A. I can see you, I need some work, B. And then we have them all sorted into groups. And right here in class, she was able to do the quick check, sort them, organize them, and then split them into their different levels of instruction for the day. As opposed to trying to write things out and do all that, and you can just sort it and it goes. And so just a real easy thing there. GoForm is another nice one. There's a ton of these tools online that work. I was going to have you do this one, but with the Wi-Fi not working. You can create these online assessments, but there's a million that do this. What I like about GoForm is they have an option where the kids can write. So they can document their work. And then what you see as a teacher, you get a panel like this. And now there's only one person because the Wi-Fi isn't going to work. But say you were all on, and we logged you in, I was going to have you draw your own portrait. I would get all your screens, and I'd be able to see all your work at one time. So if you have like a math problem or just a quick check, hey, everybody do number 4, right on your tablet device. Boom, there it is, and you can just quickly look. Okay, Aaron, clearly you don't know what you look like. All right, and away you go. And you can leave comments, you can check. It's just a quick, easy way for people to see. You can have some quick conversation. You can create a class, or they don't even have to register. You just give them a code and it takes them right to the question. So that part I really like. It has true and false, multiple choice, but so does about $1 million websites do those same things. But this one is really nice. This one here, if you're a Google Classroom, is shared to Classroom. It's been around, but not a lot of people know about it. What you can do is say I had an article. So we're going to get this thing installed. We have this on our computers. So if the kids happen to have computers for the day, we're not one-to-one, so we all fight over 14 cards. And I have a website where a kid has brought something up in class, and I want everybody to see it. If you have a Google account, that's what you have to have. I could pick, and say I want to share this website, all my classes will show up here maybe, and I click 6th grade or 7th grade math, say I want to click that. It will show them my screen or that article right now, and everybody will have it. It overtakes it. So it's just another quick way to sometimes get away from just an overhead projector. We do it for the kids in the back, or people have to sit on the floor. I can say share to class, Boom, everybody has it in the classroom, and away we go. It's just a really nice tool if you happen to use Google. This one here, this exit ticket works a lot like the other one, GoFormative, but you get more breakdown. You can really do a lot more. It starts to really keep track of data on kids. It's all free. It runs online. You give them problems and questions, and away they go, and it starts to sort stuff and do things for you. I'll show you that. Goobrick and Doctopus, I know there's a lot of Google sessions, so I won't spend forever on here. What a lifesaver. And so this was just an example of a teacher that had a grade of 110 essays. And so she just did it all online, and it kept it all right there. She records your voice, you can grade the rubric, it installs it right on their document, it pushes it right back to the kids. Super, super easy. This one's really, really simple. Actually, she's here presenting on digital portfolios. All the kids have popsicle sticks with their name, obviously nothing new. She pairs them up, she takes a picture, she throws it on her screen, and then she never has another question again about, who am I supposed to work with? What's my partner? It just seems really dumb, but it's the power of a phone. All right? And we all have these other things. It's just a very, very simple way to get things up very, very quickly. And the other one is just Edpuzzle. It's very similar to Exit Ticket. It can go formative, but obviously we're not going to do much with that because it requires video. What this one has is it has a lot of stuff already pre-built, so as teachers make things, they can make it public so you can use. And so they slice video clips and different things, and so there's a big library. About half of it's crap, but there is some good in there, all linked to standards and everything else. And so, before I close here, the most important tool, and I share this all the time, and it's one that's worth repeating time and time again, because I do think it gets lost when we talk tech and we talk all these things. The most important tool that we have is a handwritten letter. Don't ever lose sight of the power. I'm not talking a typed email. I'm talking paper and a pen, writing in person. Just thank you for this, good seeing you, whatever it might be. Don't lose sight of that. There's something really valuable about seeing something actually handwritten, like you put some time into it. And so my challenge is, no matter what tool you use, if you take any of them away, it would be at some point this week, just to write a letter to somebody. I don't care who it is, a student, parent, somebody in your family, and just continue to make those connections. And with all these tools, the power is this. I shared a lot with you. Some of you probably knew most of it. My criteria is really simple. Does it impact student learning? And or does it make my life easier? And if these tools, you don't think any of those will help you, don't use them. But if you think there's an inkling that it might make your life easier, or you think there's an inkling that it could impact your students, give it a try. All right? So we've got about 4 or 5 minutes. There's a lot of people. It's probably going to take some time to get out of here. I thank you so much for coming. If you have questions or follow-up or other ideas, I would love to hear it. I'll stick around. I'm here, actually right here for Makerspace next. And thank you so much for coming. I apologize the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to do that's right.
As a whole, I would do it as a whole
How are you? Good. Sure. Is it downstairs?